The piece is called Red Arc, Blue Veil. The title invokes shapes and colors. And I guess in some ways it's inspired by the Aurora Borealis, which I have seen frequently in my life, living almost 40 years in Alaska. But it's also a more abstract fascination with visual art, with painting, and just with form and color. And I think part of what I wanted to do in this piece is to find musical colors, new colors in sound. I can't say that I have synesthesia, but I can say that as a composer, as someone who experiences the world through my ears primarily, when I see something, I often want to hear it. So I'll see a beautiful display of Aurora Borealis and imagine, how might that sound? This piece and a series of pieces that come after it are my attempt to discover what Kandinsky called those sounds that are the inner lives of the colors. This is a piece for piano, mallet percussion, and electronic tracks, or electronic aura, as I call it. And I think the reason I settled on that term aura is because the electronic sounds are derived entirely from the sounds of the instruments, from the piano and the percussion instruments. So I composed a score in advance for those instruments, had musicians record that score, then I took those sounds as the raw material for these electronic tracks, this aura that I created, and stretched them and reversed them and knit them to themselves and created these waves, these rising and falling waves of harmonies and sonic colors. And then finally I composed the piano and percussion parts to go back inside of that world.
What's interesting about this piece is that you really have to detach yourself from the music and the paper in front of you and the click track that keeps us all together. So it's interesting managing the fact that you're in time and keeping track of time, but completely on your own plane of time as the piece unfolds. So for me, that's an interesting challenge, of just being in the sound as opposed to in the physicality of what I'm doing. It's an interesting experience.
John asked for a unique mallet situation, having to seamlessly transfer from a very quiet vibraphone stuff to very loud crotale stuff, which are drastically different implements are used to play those, typically, or ideally, I guess. So finding something that, I can alter a little bit, a really hard mallet that you can put some moleskin on that makes it soft enough to play the low end of the vibraphone, soft enough to play quietly in the vibraphone, and playing a little harder just breaks through that moleskin layer and makes it so that you can play the crotales and they make the right noise.
This was the beginning of an obsession with color and space and what you might call sonic geometry, sounding forms that you can almost see when you hear them. That search continues into my current work. A recent piece like Become Ocean is this large work for orchestra. It's really for 3 orchestras, isn't it? And it also explores these rising and falling waves of harmonic and instrumental color. So this little piece, Red Arc, Blue Veil, began something that I'm still working on almost 15 years later.